PK52, the Saturday morning meeting. Well, lost my voice, been on the road for multiple weeks. It's funny going from being in the studio and doing everything digital to being out in the field is amazing. Travel every day, airline flights at the beginning, at the end. And to be honest with you, never like to admit this and everything, little tired at the end of this run. However, there's a lot of things that I thought about, a lot of things that I saw. I saw some platinum level sales professionals. We talked. We haven't seen each other in a while. We talked about the future. We talked about what was going on now. How do I make my money next month? How do I finish this month? And then Casey, what's going to happen in the future? So when I started selling Toyotas, Toyota was a brand that competed against the big three. We had very little product. Our product was 4 cylinders. The big three were 8 cylinders. To convert somebody out of a giant, big, huge hunk of steel with a big V8 in it into a little small car with a 4-cylinder was almost impossible. We went through a gas crunch. Gas prices went up. Smaller cars became more important. The big three pretty much failed in making smaller cars. And then Toyota got a little foothold. But gang, I'll tell you right now, I have never seen the demand for the Toyota product so high. I've never seen people pay what they'll pay for a Toyota pre-owned car. They are accessorizing these cars. All the trucks have lift kits on them. There's some kind of personalization going with all these vehicles. So the automobile right now to me is at its highest peak ever. And I realized back in the 50s and 60s and the 70s when the muscle car was out and everybody was building their own car and you cruised down the main street of towns, then the car was gigantic. But this is everybody. This is from the youngest driver to the oldest driver, and they're looking for this perfect car. And Toyota right now is in a tremendous demand. Can you believe that a car company that's going to make almost 2 million new cars this year has no inventory? No inventory. It's not like that our plants are closed down and COVID is raging and nobody's working and we can't get steel. We're tracking to be well over 1.8, close to 2 million new cars produced this year, and we don't have any new cars or used cars. The demand is gigantic. What I've seen in the field with a bunch of people that are new to the business is they've never seen the other side of the business. It's not their fault. They've never been on the other side of the business. They've never walked into a dealership on a Saturday morning when there was 15 or 16 white Camrys. They're all LE Camrys, same interior, basically the same price. Maybe a difference was a clock or maybe an upgrade on a radio, but the cars were basically the same. To try to drive demand on the customer, you better get one today. You better get this today. And they're looking out there and they go, well, this whole part of your dealership is all white Camrys. It's a different selling situation. So at that point in time, you're not selling the car for over MSRP. You're not selling the car before it comes in. You're competing not only with every other manufacturer that makes a mid-size sedan, you're competing against every other Toyota dealership in your market area that also has 15 white Camrys. So a little bit different strategy. So you have to be the best product specialist you can be. You've got to do something that everybody else didn't do. You've got to make the customer understand the product better. You're trying to compete against the Kias and the Hyundais and the Hondas of the world, the Mazdas and the Nissans of the world. On the truck side, you're trying to compete against the Ford and the Dodge and the Chevys of the world. And so you had to be a little bit better than everybody else. You had to convince the customer that you knew the product fit what they were looking for, here's what they wanted, here's what I have, and you matched the demand to the actual product. That takes practice. When I'm running stores back a few years ago, gang, every single week we had product training. We brought a vehicle out and everybody did a spin on the vehicle. Did the sales professionals hate it? Absolutely. Did I make the managers do it? Yes. Did the managers hate it? Absolutely. But if you think about this, if you played football in your youth, it doesn't matter if you played high school or college football, but you played youth football, some of the things you did in practice was the first step. Take the first step. Why do I take that first step? Which foot do I lead? Why do I take the first step? In baseball, why do I take a hop step before I throw the ball? In hockey, how do I come off everything there was a technique to become better with everything you did. It seems like, fast people wouldn't need a sprinter or a running coach, but we got the world championships going on right now in Oregon, and I'm watching these people. So how can everybody from the world practice every single day, and there's one individual that is better than everybody else? Did they practice harder? Do they know exactly where they are? Do they know exactly how to run their race? Not only are they the best athlete in the world, they are the best prepared in the world. That's why the gold medal goes around their neck. I guess it's disappointing if you make it to the world championship and don't even make it to the finals. Well, we're in the finals right now. There is not a better product on the earth. I don't think the customer knows the product. So everybody else is discontinuing cars. Ford's out, Chevrolet's out, Chrysler's out, and the amount of cars that we're making, passenger cars, is going down because everybody thinks the SUV is the way to go. That's what's hot right now. Sometimes green cars are hot. Everybody goes, I want a green car. 2 or 3 years later, nobody wants a green car. It's funny how things run in cycles. This is the all-new Toyota Crown. It's going to be phenomenal. It's going to be phenomenal. To me, the Avalon is phenomenal. Avalon Hybrid is, why would you need anything else? If you were looking for a touring sedan, that Avalon Hybrid was a phenomenal choice. People still don't even know we had an Avalon. We've had them for years. People have driven them. They come into a dealership, you have a used Avalon, they go, what is that? That's not what's going to happen with a Crown. This is a legacy car for Toyota. The Crown was introduced in Japan, and it's been the highest model. Dignitaries have been in there. Heads of state have been in Crowns. This is going to be monumental. But right in the middle of everybody moving away from the car business, watch what Toyota's doing, right back in the car business. So should I start practicing on what the Crown has? So I'm going to end this today by saying this. I found the level of product knowledge over the last 5 weeks that I've been traveling is at the lowest point I've ever seen. There are salespeople out there that have been selling cars a long time, and they know exactly how to open up a conversation with a customer, how to sell the product, and how to complete the deal. But for the younger salespeople in there right now, and I'm not talking about young in age, I'm talking about young in years, young in how long I've been there, you've got to start learning the product. And the only way to learn the product is to practice the product. Listen, it's embarrassing to be outside with a RAV4 doing a walk around by yourself. And just talking about, I'm starting here at the hood. And then I'm moving down the side of the car. So from the hood to the side of the car, what am I going to show? When I get to the driver's side door and I open the driver's side door, what are the 2 or 3 key features that I want to show? And how do I want the customer? I don't want to be looking in the car. I want the customer in the car. How do I get the customer back out of the car? How do I move to the trunk? Now, we both know, all of us listening right now know, both sides, me and you, I can do this digitally. I can have somebody with a camera, I can start at the front of the car, and they can be just like the person, and they can walk me through the car. Now, I can send that out. But once the customer gets there, even if they've already bought the car, they've never driven the car, they've never seen the car, they've already put their deposit down there, they're just there to take delivery. Your active delivery of the car should be a great walk around of features and benefits and why Toyota did this. And the only way you're ever going to do that is to practice. There's no magic pill. If there was a magic pill, I would bottle them and say, $19.99, you can have this pill. If you call right now, I'll send you a second bottle for free. There's no pill. To learn the Corolla, you have to practice the Corolla. To learn the Camry, you have to practice the Camry. To move into the Crown and be ready when the Crown first gets here, sell the first one. Why would you not sell the first one? There's enough information online right now that you can put a walk around before the car ever came in. Sell the first one. Sell the first Sequoia. Know the Tacoma. What is Ford doing with their truck, the new Ranger? Is it even in the competition with our Tacoma? Why would you say, I would tell somebody the Ranger and the Tacoma are not even in the same class. But then if they say why, can you tell them why? Can you give them 10 reasons why the Tacoma is better than the Ranger? Or the Colorado for Chevrolet or GMC, the Canyon? That Tacoma is a big deal for us. We've got a brand new Tundra. Why is the Tundra better than the F-150. Why didn't we go with a V8? What is this turbo? There's two engines. Which one do I need and why should I buy that? And if I don't practice those things, I don't have those things. Do I think that I'm going to move most of you to go out and actually practice? No. When I drive by the dealership next week on a Wednesday about noon when there's nobody there and you've got, because you don't have a new one, but you've got a pre-owned Corolla out there and you've got the hood open, the trunk open, and you're just practicing your walk around. But when fall hits, drive by an elementary school or a public park. Drive by a high school. Drive by a college. And see if the football players aren't out on the field. They're not playing. They're not scoring points. They're not getting closer to winning a district championship or a state championship. They're practicing. So the greatest people in the world that are the greatest at what they do, the top level people in the world, have spent way more time in practice than they have in game time. I'm asking you right now, we all know that when the market comes back, and Casey, how do you know the market's going to come back? We're not going to build any more cars. But if these interest rates keep going up, gang, that means the payment goes up. 2 or 3 years from now, some of these people that put no money down on a car and did an advance of way over MSRP or way over extra clean book are going to have enough negative equity that they can't trade out of their car. So what happens is we're not building more cars, but the demand for the cars or the ability to buy the cars is going to go down, and then our supply is going to come back up. It's happened before. It's going to happen again. It's not like I'm any kind of great predictor. That's what's going to happen. And now I've got 4 or 5 cars available. And so does the other 5 or 6 dealerships in my market. They have the exact same cars. Toyota builds a lot of LE RAVs, a lot of XLE RAVs, a lot of LE Corollas. And all of a sudden we have supply and the customers aren't paying $4 or $5 grand over MSRP. But they need to buy from you. I need to sell that car. That's how I get paid. I need to make sure that I deliver that car with the best walk around I possibly can. When should you start practicing because you know the market's changing? Take a car a week. Write down 10 things that you think are revolutionary on the car and go out and do a couple of passes. Number 1, the most important thing I think about the all-new Corolla is boom. And then the best thing that I think that Toyota's got going on right now with the 4Runner is boom, and practice. Do I really think you're going to do this? No. Do I think the professional in you says, Casey, I know I need to practice my skills and my product? Yes. PK52, the Saturday Morning Meeting.